Hello guys, this is Cesar Creates and welcome back to my channel. In today's episode of the Elm Hill City Zoo, we will add one of my favorites when it comes to the cats in the planet zoo, the Siberian tiger. Finally, a tiger will be added to the Elm Hill City Zoo. I cannot even tell you how many requests and comments I got over the last year since starting the Elm Hill City Zoo about the tiger, about adding the tiger, about building the habitat for a tiger here in the zoo. You guys really wanted to see the tiger added, and finally we will have a tiger from now on. And let me just tell you that this habitat is one of my favorites, I think, right now. I really love how it has turned out, and for sure it is the favorite one of the all cats that we added so far. This is our third cat. So many to go still, but this habitat is one of my favorites in the zoo for sure. So I am super hopeful that you guys will like this habitat as well and will be satisfied that finally we have a tiger, and you can see me building a habitat for a tiger here on my channel. So the concept of that habitat is the same as we did for other cats. It will still have like an outdoor part and an indoor part, but in this case the indoor part will be totally different. It is at the end of the house. The house has like those two sections on each side that are committed just to one big cat. One of those is the Siberian tiger that we are building for today, and the second one will be for another big cat that you will see in the future. So yeah, this is like a special place for a special cat in this house, because it will be totally different and it will be much bigger when it comes to the indoor section and also the outdoor section, as you guys will see. But of course the general idea about the moat around the outdoor section and the hidden backstage area like next to the indoor habitat are completely the same. So if you would like to see how I do those things, the things that I basically skipped in those videos because I didn't want to repeat myself, you can always go back to my the first video of the big hut house when I showed you how I did the walls and you know, some details around this building. And also you can go back to the snow leopard habitat when I also showed you guys like when I've built the fence for the guests, the moat and stuff like that, and you will know how I did it, because we have a lot of new people here on the channel lately, so thank you to everyone who recently joined. And if you haven't seen my latest videos from the zoo, I would recommend you guys to watch them. If you won't watch them, that won't be like a severe problem. You'll still get everything that I built here today, I am sure of it. But I would just recommend you to go back to those videos to get yourself updated with the things that we are doing in this big cat house. And when it comes to the new people on the channel, we recently celebrated 5,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and we are almost on 6,000. So thank you guys for joining. This really means a world to me that my little channel is growing so fast. So I am super grateful for everyone who clicked that subscribe button. And if you haven't still did that, please consider to click this button. It really means a world to me and helps my channel to grow. And also thanks to that, YouTube sees that you like my videos and it recommends it to other people, so our giraffe family can get even bigger. Okay, so let me quickly tell you what I did here while I was doing this intro to the video. So I started the video with doing slightly complicated paths inside of the indoor section inside of the house. I wanted to have the paths in there at first because they sort of determined the height of the entire habitat. That's why I had to do it first. It will make more sense later in the video, I promise you guys. We will have a pretty like neat indoor section for those guys, so I promise that you will be able to see it all later in the video. And then I went on to doing like a back wall backdrop for this habitat. As always, I did that with the fake aquatic rocks, and also I did like this technique of using those longer ones and combining them together so that they form those large pillars, and then when you put those pillars next to each other, they create a very like nice looking fake rock wall, and I love this effect and I'm using it all the time right now. But here on this back wall, I decided to add like a planter up there. I was inspired by the actual habitat from the Alfred Brehm house, which is the inspiration for this building, like a loose inspiration for this building that we are building in here. This is also the place where we are building right now is also a place where the Sumatran tigers are living in the zoo. We are building for Siberian ones, so slightly different, but still I really love this, you know, back wall, rock wall with the planters, a lot of plants. And the plants being mainly the climbers or creepers, so that they just, you know, lie down of those rock formations, and it looks so cool. And in the end, I think it also looks very nice in this habitat. After being done with that wall, I went on to doing like a moat around the habitat. I added the path, and also then I added the lining for the entire moat and the fence for the gas, like a little wall for the gas. I skipped that part because I did it so many times here on the channel that you guys probably won't have any problems with figuring out how I did it. When it comes to the tigers in the game, as I told you guys at the beginning of this video, the tiger, the Siberian tiger to be exact, is one of my favorites when it comes to the cuts in the game. I like it a bit more than the Bengal tiger because I think that Siberian one, it simply looks better in the game. The Bengal tiger looks a bit like it was taken out of a children like cartoon, and I always prefer the animals when they look a bit more realistic. Of course, we are still talking about the Planet Zoo, so they don't look like they are from our real life, but some of the animals, especially from newer DLCs, they look so amazingly well done. Like the models are beautiful with a lot of textures and stuff like that, and I don't feel like the Bengal tiger is up to par with those newer animals. That's why I prefer the Siberian tiger. But I made a decision here for this house. In the first episode, I told you guys that I will probably choose between the tigers to add one, and you had so many suggestions about different tigers. Some of you wanted to see the Siberian one, some of you wanted to see the Bengal one. That's why I decided to squeeze in one more cat inside of this house. So we will have now all the tigers, all the cats that are available now in Planet Zoo housed inside of this house, and I think that I will be able to make it work. So yeah, I told you guys that it is a bit, you know, unrealistic to have like two different tigers inside of one zoo, like two different species of tigers, but actually I was like completely wrong with this one, because even in the Alfred Brehm house that we are like taking inspiration for this entire build, there are two totally different subspecies of tigers, the Sumatran one and the Indo-Chinese one. So yeah, we can totally do it, and the Bengal tiger will be added here as well. But because the Siberian tiger is the largest cat on Earth, I decided to give it like this special location in our wildcat house, and it will have like a slightly bigger enclosure. Also, maybe it will be a bit controversial to some of you, but I decided to add 3 tigers. I know that Zoopedia tells us that there should be only 2 of them, but I play in sandbox and we have a large enclosure for them. That's why I decided to add 3 because I totally see in the zoos around the world that there are more than just 2 in one. Of course, there are sometimes 2 or even 1, but in some zoos there are 3, 4, or even 5 of them in the same habitat, and they are completely fine. They are used to each other. They are used to living in a bigger group. They are not, wild caught. They are bred in zoos. That's why, they just tolerate each other. And for it being such a large habitat, I thought that giving it, a slightly bigger number of tigers will be just a bit better in case of their visibility. There will be always one of them, I don't know, in the outside, inside, or somewhere there, so it will be easier for us to spot one. So, as you guys can see, I added a lot of rocks and different rock formations to this habitat. I wanted the tigers to be able to climb on those, like to lay on those rocks and stuff like that. In many of tiger habitats around the world, I saw that they often have those rock formations where they can climb on, they lay on, and they can, watch over their whole enclosure. Also, in some of the older city zoos, I've seen that the tigers or other big cats, they simply only had rocks and rock formations and it was their whole habitat, and I thought that it looks a bit sad and boring for them, so I decided to give them some variation. So they have this whole section with rocks where they can climb on them, and also a lot of soil, grass and stuff like that, so they can walk on something more soft. In a second, I will start to add all of the details to this habitat. I mean the foliage, the logs, the stones, different kinds of small rocks and stuff like that. So of course we'll add tons of drin grass, my favorite plant in the game. I always do it, and you guys actually enjoy it, so thank you for that. Every time I post photos of my habitat somewhere, I get so many compliments on the foliage, on this grass, using it and so on, so thank you. I love that you love it, simply because I love adding this grass to all of my habitats. But yeah, the foliage for the outside part will be my regular go-to foliage, as I added for other cats, as we are building in one of the sections of the zoo, and I didn't want to make the foliage like completely different in the habitats that are just next to each other. I think that it will look a bit weird. Of course, there are some different ones. We have the pine trees in the cougar habitat. Here we have this new oak tree from the Euro pack, which I love. And yeah, but more or less the foliage is quite similar, with a lot of grass, with some bamboo bushes and stuff like that. Also, I added here a lot of different dead trees, like those trees that I created myself and you can download from the workshop, and also the dead trees from the game. I think that the tigers would use them, walk on them and stuff like that in real life. I've seen a lot of tiger habitats with a lot of dead trees, so that's why I wanted to add them for sure. This actually makes me think that I would even like to have more of those trees in the game. I mean more of the actual large trees that are dead, that don't have leaves, just a lot of branches in different directions and stuff like that. I think that it would be amazing. Don't get me wrong, I like the dead trees that we have right now, but the pine trees and so on, it is just a tree trunk, and the smaller ones are just too small, and I would love to get something like, for example, this oak tree just without leaves, just so it is dead and it has those cool branches and the animals would be able to climb on them. That would be amazing, because I think it's so realistic to have those things in zoos, in habitats. I've seen a lot of them being used around the world. For example, for primates, for big cats, for climbing animals. And you know, I think that it would be amazing to have those. When it also comes to all the details inside of this habitat, unfortunately I had the same issue with the Siberian tigers as I had with cougars. Unfortunately, their traversable area wasn't too good, and I had to delete a lot of details from this habitat because they simply couldn't use it the way I wanted them to be able to use it. I had to make the rock formations a bit, you know, less steep because they couldn't climb it. And that's the issue with those, you know, older animals that are from the base game. Like, I was really surprised about the cougar that it also had such a bad traversable area, because I almost always associate bad traversable area with the animals from the base game. But yeah, I wish that it was actually changed, because no, creating something very detailed for those animals, like, I don't know, elephants or tigers or probably even lions and stuff like that, is hard, because you always need to have this thought in the back of your mind that if the animal would actually be able to, you know, reach the places that you wanted to reach, in here it was definitely a struggle. They couldn't even walk into the water, they couldn't climb on those, you know, on this like large rock in the middle of the habitat. I wanted it to be climbable because I thought that it would be a nice detail for them to have like this a bit of a pride rock or something, but they couldn't use it, and I had to do a lot of adjusting. So don't be surprised when you will see some of the small rocks or logs or something being moved or being gone in the cinematic shots at the end of this video. Also, what I wanted to tell you guys is to actually thank you for all the views under the African reptile house from the Desert Adventure Park. This video has now over 10,000 views, which is quite a lot when it comes to my channel, and I think that it is the first video from a Planet Zoo that was able to, you know, reach that milestone so fast. I had different videos from the Jurassic Evolution 2 that reached to the 10,000 views in shorter period of time, but for the Planet Zoo, this video is definitely a standout. So thank you for watching it, thank you for enjoying it. This is one of my favorite builds, so I am super happy that you guys enjoy it as well and watch this video, because it was a lot of work, and seeing so many views under it like makes my heart warm. So thank you again, this is just amazing. So, when it comes to the new DLC for the Planet Zoo, the Wetlands Animal Pack, I cannot wait for 12th of April. It is still a couple of days away, but yeah, I cannot simply wait because I love all the new animals that will be added. I love the animals that they chose for it. As I already told you guys, I am super excited for this pack. We will build such an amazing things for those animals. I already have so many ideas and I hope you guys will like it. We'll build like another section in the Elm Hill City Zoo for those animals, and I plan to use like a natural like lake or pond that we will have in the Elm Hill City Zoo. We still haven't done that here, so I think it makes kind of sense, and the wetlands animals will be like incorporated around this lake. And yeah, I will make it work, and I think that it will look amazing. So I cannot wait. I am actually recording this voiceover right after the last animal was revealed. I am recording it on Thursday, so I just saw the Nile Lechway, and it is so beautiful. I couldn't wait to see this guy. And yeah, like the fur texture, like the horns, the stuff like that, really, really beautiful. All of those animals are so well done. Of course, we'll get to see their animations and stuff like that once the DLC will be available, and then I will give you guys my thoughts about them. But yeah, I am super excited and I cannot wait. Also, we're, for example, at the Nile Lechway for the Desert Adventure Park at some point, because it suits the park, I think, perfectly. So yeah, I cannot wait for that. Like, after seeing all the animals being revealed by Planet Zoo on their social media, I think that the standouts for me are the Nile lechwe, red-crowned crane, the platypus, and also the Asian small-clawed otter. So basically half of them. But yeah, those animals are so well done. I love them all, to be honest. I think that all of them are super well made, but those 4 just make me the most excited to build for them. So yeah, I cannot wait. Even the newt, I think it looks so good. Like, it is like a standout between all the exhibit animals. I think that the model that was revealed has so many details and looks super like unique and cool that I am even super excited for a newt that will be added, and that's a bit crazy. Okay, so in the second, I will be done with the outdoor section for this habitat, and we'll move indoors to make an indoor section. At first, I will start with covering those ugly paths with some planters, concrete pieces. I will do some railings for the guests and stuff like that. Like, the idea is that you need to go downstairs to be like on the level of the cats, of the tigers, but you can also like see them and observe them from slightly upper level. When you have those railings, you can stand there and you get the perfect view inside the whole indoor section. This is what I took from the original Alfred Brehm house, and I think it looks so cool. It is such a nice idea, and also you know, something different inside of this house. We don't have all the enclosures at the same level, so it's not so boring. We have this like height variation, and yeah, I really love it. So I hope you guys will too, because this indoor section is, I think, the best indoor section that I ever did on my channel. They are sometimes a bit tricky to do in Planet Zoo because of the lighting. Just as I told you guys in the reptile house video, I have some issues with lighting inside the houses, inside the buildings. I think it is so dark that you lose all the details that you simply get when you have this bright sunlight. That's why I sometimes decide to make my cinematic shots and screenshots from the, you know, indoor parts without the roof. Maybe I'll actually do it in here as well, because also you lose so many details without this, you know, proper lighting, that it is a bit frustrating, but it is just the way it is. I will add like massive windows here on the roof section for, you know, some natural light to be introduced inside of this indoor section. This is also like inspired by a real life building, and I love it. I won't actually include building those windows because I did something really similar in my first Wildcat house video, so I didn't want to repeat myself. But yeah, we'll have those very large windows. Because of them, it is slightly better, but still I would love it to be you know, brighter. When it comes to the other news, ladies and gentlemen, the Elm Hill City Zoo finally has a logo, and I couldn't be more excited because it was lacking the logo for such a long time. But a very friendly person, a very nice, friendly guy on Instagram DM'd me. We talked a bit, and he shared with me some of his creations in Planet Zoo, and I think that they were totally amazing, and he totally should start his own YouTube channel on those builds. But yeah, he offered that he's a graphic designer and he would love to do something for my zoos, for the Elm Hill City Zoo or the Desert Adventure Park. And I of course said yes, because that was a huge coincidence, because I actually thought some time ago to, you know, find someone to design for me a logo for the Elm Hill City Zoo and do some other graphic stuff, like for example a map of it when it will be a bit more finished and stuff like that. And he offered his help, and he came up with the design for a logo, which you will be able to see on the screen right now. And also he made new designs for the info boards for our zoos. So you'll see the new info boards here in the cinematic shots. So definitely stay tuned till the end because I love them. They are just perfect for the city zoo that we are building in here. I think that he nailed them, so thank you. His name on Instagram is actually the Rare Beast Builds, so if you would like to give him a follow and show your gratitude for the work that he did for the Elm Hill City Zoo, totally do and go and give him a follow on Instagram. The link will be down in the description, and I'm sure that he will really appreciate that. And when he will share with you his builds on Instagram, I'm sure you guys will be as amazed as I was. But going back to our build, right now we are building a glass barrier for the indoor section, and this might be my favorite glass barrier that we ever did for any of the habitats here on the channel. I love it. It is like directly inspired and taken from the Alfred Bram house. I was able to pretty much recreate what I saw on the pictures, so I am really happy with that. I love that half of it is, or maybe less than half even, is like glass, and the rest is mesh, and between the glass and the mesh there's this like tiny little space that you have. I really like this detail, and yeah, in total I think that this really tall, like impressive barrier looks really cool. And another big thank you goes to Jonas on Instagram, because he was kind enough to send me a lot of photos from the Alfred Bram house before the renovation and after. He was there like many times, I think, and he had a lot of pictures. So yeah, I was really glad and really happy with that, and I am super grateful because I was able to get even more details than the things that I saw online. So thank you, Jonas. This really means the world to me, and this barrier is also something that I was able to recreate from the pictures that you just sent me. Okay, when it comes to the indoor section, at first I had this idea to do like the whole background, like the whole, rock wall around it with the small temple pieces. I've seen a lot of people using them as, rock formations, rocks, and, those rock walls and stuff like that. But I didn't quite like the finished, product, because when you put a lot of them next to each other, they actually start to look a bit like too fake, even like not realistic at all. That's why in the end I decided to mix them up with the rocks that we used outside, and I love how it has turned out. It looks so cool. It looks even better at the later stage when I will add some plants like creepers and stuff like that, roots to those walls, and I think it looks so good. In this indoor habitat we'll have, of course, a lot of different foliage. I went a bit more crazy this time, given how much of the big windows we'll have in here, so there will be a lot of natural light and I could go a bit more crazy with the foliage. And also I did some of the rock formations. I again used the path, the tree bark path, because I think that the tree bark is just used in habitats like that, so it makes total sense to use that path, and it looks really cool. I of course added some of the decals to the path, not to make it so perfect. I change the colors of them into like this muddy one or something, so it doesn't look just as tidy as it did before. And I also added a small like water section, like a pond for them to drink from, and of course a lot of logs and small stones and stuff like that. Also I had to delete some of them because they weren't able to walk around this indoor section at all. Behind this indoor section we'll have the backstage area with two different entrances. I didn't include that in the video because I've done the backstage stuff so many times that I'm sure you guys will be able to figure out how I did it. It's just mesh and a lot of metal poles and metal beams and stuff like that. I will showcase it for sure in the cinematics by the end of this video, so don't miss it. Okay, and I still haven't given you guys any of the fun facts about the Siberian tigers, so let's do it quickly right now. So, the Siberian tiger is the largest tiger subspecies and the largest wild cat in the world. Siberian tigers live in eastern Russia birch forest, and there are some in China and North Korea. It's estimated that there are around 600 Siberian tigers left in the wild. To keep themselves from becoming cold in the winters, Siberian tigers have thicker fur coats than tigers which live in southern Asia. They also have thick layer of fat which helps them keep warm. Siberian tigers have extra fur around the necks and paws which help them keep warm as well. They feed mainly on wild boar, moose and deer, but they will also eat fish, rodents, rabbits and even small bears. After being hunted nearly to extinction early in the 20th century, the species received legal protection from the Soviet Union in 1947. At the time, there were few as 20 Siberian tigers left in the world. The Siberian tiger is still considered a critically endangered species, with a primary threat to its survival in the wild being poaching and habitat loss from intensive logging and development. Siberian tigers live in such remote locations that poachers can kill them without being caught. Poachers hunt those tigers for illegal wildlife markets, selling skins, meat and bones. They are also hunted for traditional Asian medicines. Local people often view tigers as threats to people and livestock and may kill the rare tigers if they see one. However, the Siberian tiger very rarely becomes a man-eater. Numerous cases of attacks on humans were recorded in the 19th century, occurring usually in Central Asia. So there's really no reason of killing those beautiful cats. No one should do it, obviously. No one also should support and buy the Chinese traditional medicine or Asian traditional medicine. I know that maybe it's a part of your culture, but I don't get, harming animals that become extinct because of that. Like, so many species suffer from the, traditional medicine that it is quite scary. And there are modern means of, medicine that you can take. And I am sure will work much better without killing an innocent animal that may get extinct because of it. So yeah, that was a bit of a moral talk from Cesar Creates, but I think that it is very important for people to know that, because of their actions, the animals actually are dying out, and if we don't change anything in our behavior, they might be in trouble, and you won't, maybe your kids or your grandchildren won't be able to see the Siberian tigers anymore, and we simply don't want that. Okay, so as you guys can see, I almost finished the indoor section for this habitat. I hope you enjoyed that, because our little video is coming slowly to an end. Of course, there will be cinematic shots as always at the end of the video, so you'll be able to see the finished product, the finished habitat with the things that I still haven't showed you in the speed build. So definitely stay tuned for that, because you don't want to miss it. As I told you guys, this might be one of my favorites when it comes to habitats in the Elm Hill City Zoo. It is definitely my favorite when it comes to the cat habitats that we have done on the channel so far. There are still so many to go, so maybe one of them will top this one, but who knows. We will see. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, of course. This would mean a world to me, and you won't miss any of my future uploads. Also, if you liked the video, please give it a big thumbs up down below, ring the bell if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, and comment down below if you like this habitat that we did today, and also maybe tell me which of the cat habitats that we did so far here on the channel is your favorite. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!